everybody, Richard Maxwell here, Arcadia High School's Creative Musical Arts and Sciences program. It is our weekly podcast. It is the end of the first quarter. I cannot believe how fast this quarter has gone by. It has been an absolutely amazing start to the school year. This week's episode features a conversation with a couple of CMAS 1 students, and we kind of recap the quarter, maybe a little bit of just how they're feeling about things, some of their high points of what they've done so far in the program. It's only 2 of them, but it's representative of so many. There are nearly 90 CMAS 1 students this year. It's unbelievable, and they're all doing amazing and wonderful things, along with all the stuff that the advanced folks are doing too. So it's been a great first quarter. I want to thank everybody who's been involved in the podcast, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching. Don't forget, if you're interested in supporting this program, you can go to arcadiacmas.com and donate specifically. If you want to help us get to Nashville this spring, that would be fantastic. There's a whole bunch of forms there and links you can get to for tax credit donations or just regular donations or whatever. But in any case, thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for supporting these kids in these program, and enjoy the episode. And why is my head? Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going good.
We're like
Going
4 days away from the end of the quarter, depending on how you want to count it.
Yeah.
How'd it go? So CMAS won this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? First hour? 6th hour?
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't have anybody from 4th hour here. That's okay. We'll get them on the next round of it. But and I'm genuinely not fishing for compliments. I swear I'm not. We did our first episode this year was with a couple of folks in CMAS 1 in like week 1. It was like day 2 or 3. It was a lot of, I don't know what's going on. And they weren't sure either. Sorry, in my head, that was a good joke. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, but I thought it would actually be kind of cool. When we did that episode, my idea was let's at least do one segment on the last episode of the quarter, and then we'll do it kind of, the semester, and then at the end of the year, certainly. How'd first quarter go, Laila? How'd it go?
I thought it went pretty nice. I just started doing the Voxiumana stuff, and
Right.
that's pretty fun. And making songs.
Voxiumana is this vocal group that we've been trying to get off the ground forever, and I'm so glad you're doing it. It's pretty cool though. It's
Yeah.
You guys had a good rehearsal today too. Like things have all of a sudden just kind of started clicking. I feel like. Yeah, I'm very excited for what's going to come in the coming weeks and months with that group.
Yeah.
What else? What have you? What? Let me ask this: what's been your favorite assignment so far in class?
I think my favorite assignment was Idea. The chorus one.
Idea 4.
Idea 4.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that one was fun. I like that one.
You like that one?
Yeah, that one or the chord progression one, because you had to follow
Really?
the chart.
Oh, okay. Have you been using that since? It's okay if not.
No.
I'm just curious. That's okay. That's all right. Well, yeah, I mean, you can bring it back out. That's just that major chord progression stuff. We're going to add in minor chord progressions and others too. But the idea is just to, when you get stuck, is the whole idea. So I'm glad you liked it. Hutch, what about you?
I think it's been going well, but throughout the whole quarter, there's been a pattern between all of the assignments, and it's all comes down to the fact that I both have the great misfortune and the very, very great fortune of working all the time with a student who is already a very talented musician.
Okay, talk more about that.
So I feel like it's good because he is helpful.
Right.
He teaches me a lot of different stuff, different chords that I haven't known, because I'm very much feel like I'm starting outside. Before I came to CMAS, I thought that I had a pretty good grasp on a lot of stuff musically, and then I got here and saw where everyone else was at, and I was like,
Oh no. Okay, I'm
not.
going to refute the premise of what you just said in a moment, but keep going about working with this other student.
So I feel that it was good to work with that student because I feel that a lot of concepts and a lot of progress, ideas, things, the way just being able to see how his mind works when he creates music has been very helpful to me in learning how I can, operate in CMAS. But at the same time, I feel that it creates an environment where it's difficult for me to try to actually create concepts because he's so good at creating them that oftentimes there isn't much that anyone else needs to put into the situation.
Okay. So let me throw an alternate theory your way. You don't have to accept this.
Mhm.
It might also be, you may very well be right, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but there's another possibility to consider, which is it might not be that your skills are somehow sub anybody else. it might simply be a matter of circumstance. So imagine if, and I don't know if this is the case or not, but if prior to coming here, you didn't have a whole lot of people to interact on a level. I mean, like maybe you might listen to things with other people, but to actually discuss the stuff, to really like get into what makes an idea good. How do you even create one? Like if you haven't been able to have that conversation on a regular basis prior, coming into CMAS, and I say this having been doing this for a while, and you're not the first student to say it. A lot of times it's not that you're not capable, and it's not like, well, I was a giant fish in a tiny pond, and now I feel like I'm, a tiny little nothing, in a whatever. It's more just the circumstance was never there that you had the interaction. So, like, you're able to be much more active. I can tell just observationally you listen differently, even just in the, 8 or 9 weeks we've had this quarter. It's very obvious you listen to things differently than you did when you first walked in the room. Is that a reasonable?
I think that's very true, and part of that is the biggest thing for me throughout CMAS, like what we've done first all this quarter, is that I realized that I was being very broad with what I wanted to do, and I wanted to narrow it down, and I feel like I really got something down just like mentally, just
sure. See, but
working
that's
through
huge.
my mind.
That's my point.
No, it is.
That's actually a bigger deal.
And it was me sort of like I sat down and I realized this was going to be a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. And then after that, I started asking myself, well, why do I want to put in all this work? Why do I want to make music so bad? And in the end, I kind of ended up creating the answer of, I'm a big fan of storytelling and writing, and big reason why I love storytelling and writing is because it's able to, evoke emotion that's otherwise indescribable in other forms. And I feel like, as someone who likes to write a little bit, I see music as an even more ultimate form of expression of human emotion. It's able to create sort of sensations and feelings that written words and spoken words can't even come close to being able to replicate. So
again, I come back to maybe I don't want to use the word frustration because I feel like that's more negative than you intend. But
it's around the right thought.
Okay, but you're navigating through, I think, an awareness that you didn't have before. So I've been writing music a long time. I've been writing since I was like 3 years old. Not that I've been writing great stuff since I've been 3. I'm just saying I've been doing it since I was 3. Sometimes it's literally like you have these steps and stages I've noticed, and even for myself, where it's like, I did a thing. I did the thing. Now, I don't even get to the thought process of if it's any good or not. I'm just happy I did the thing. And then you start to later go into, okay, yeah, you did the thing, but you didn't do it that well, or this part of it didn't quite work, or you mentioned stories.
Yes.
You're not telling a story very well here. It's like, yes, it exists, but not necessarily at the highest level you might want.
Mm-hmm.
I again come back to, it's very possible that as you're comparing yourself to this other person, who, by the way, for the record, has a zero ego about it, at least in my observation.
Oh, no,
this is not
amazing to work with.
Yeah, this is not somebody who's like arrogant and like difficult. I think it might just be simply a matter of, if you haven't on a regular basis had the opportunity to collaborate with somebody who's on your level, it might just be, it's very likely it's not that he's musically more intuitive than you. It's not that he's a better musician than you. It's just, again, circumstance of having that kind of regular interaction. It changes your creative process. That's kind of, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but that's actually kind of the point, is that it's supposed to change your perspective and your ideas. Is the microphone being gross? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Let's because you actually did one of the first ones with me on the first week. Weren't you one of the people that I talked to on like the very first? We were in the other room. Didn't we do that? Weren't you in that one? No, maybe.
No.
I thought you were.
I was in one of the first ones though.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
That's okay.
What's your like? Have you had moments of that where you're like, it's okay if not, but have you had moments this quarter where you're like, wow, I thought it was this. It turns out it's actually that, and now I got to recalibrate everything because of the shift.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about music, and my friend is such a huge music nerd that sometimes I feel like I can't talk about music around him because I will always be wrong, and it's.
Yeah, but see again, and that's funny because I never, excuse me, I never would have thought like,
hearing you sing, hearing you adapt to so many different live vocal situations that we've had already, I never would have described you the way you just described yourself. I know nothing about music. I'm sorry, that's just not true. You can't do what you've done just vocally alone in the stuff we've done. That's not possible to accomplish if you don't have some kind of musical instincts that you couldn't possibly have done what you accomplished. So you're wrong. No. Do you guys feel? Again, it's weird when I'm the one asking this, but I'm just curious. Like, do you feel like you've grown musically in the quarter?
Yes.
Do you feel better about what you're doing? Like this upcoming project, it's due tomorrow. Not to put, but like, do you feel like good about it, or do you feel good about the process you went through, even if it's not perfect? Do you feel good about like understanding, like, I needed to do this, we went ahead and did this, this is what we got, I know how we got here, kind of, do you know what I mean? As opposed to I'm just randomly hitting buttons and things and screeching out notes and slamming power chords or whatever it might be and hoping that in the end I get a thing that I like. You know, do you feel purposeful now?
I do, but it sort of links back to what I was saying, where like it's difficult because in a lot of the, to use your example of like you're sitting there pressing random buttons, and a lot of the time it just feels like, you're not pushing any buttons. You're watching someone else push all the buttons.
Okay.
And that's still, but I still find that I get a lot of merit out of that because, just merely being able to,
Right.
observe the process helps you understand it. And I'm not saying that I haven't done anything. Of course, I've,
Well, that again I would refute anyway because I've seen what you're doing.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, we're going to wrap up here in like literally 30 seconds. But fundamentally, there could be, and again, this is for both of you. This is actually for every CMAS student. It might be that this is an indicator that this person who you're friends with maybe take some projects like next quarter and not like, I now hate you, I will never work with you again.
Mm-hmm.
But just maybe see what happens. We do lots of these rapid fire projects, especially in CMAS 1 for this reason. Take one of them in second quarter and be like, I'm just going to sit. I'm going to do this one on my own. We'll just see what happens. And, not to sound silly, but even if you came back and you're like, here's the thing. I've talked about this in class. I worked every day. You saw me working every day. It's garbage. I can't. But even that actually moves your process forward. If you're every day working towards that thing, you may not. That's why this is so hard, because it's so difficult to know for sure what's going to work, what's not going to work. And there's no formula. There's no way to do it. Mick Jagger very famously said in an interview, someone's like, how do you write all those hit songs? And paraphrasing his answer, he goes, I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure if I ever figured it out, I'd never be able to do it again. So, McCartney has said that before. Every great songwriter ever has that's one of those rare universal connection points. So, any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
Nope.
Okay. I wore you out. I'm sorry.
No, I don't. Like, I definitely I respond better to like questions than just like.
That's okay. Have you been having fun?
Yeah.
You're glad you're here? Because I'm
Yeah.
glad you guys are here. We need to have a continuing discussion about a certain literary classic and its adaptation into movies and television. I will save this for second quarter. I do hope that over the break, though, Hutch, I just want to get this on record, that you take the opportunity to explore your other options of opinions about said literary adaptations.
I will further explore the topic that my opinion is on, but
Fair
I
enough.
am confident that my opinion will remain unwavering.
Fair enough. And I think this is a good way to get people to tune into another episode where you and I maybe could have a one-on-one discussion about because I actually think creatively it would be actually kind of fun.
I do think that would be interesting.
That said, you guys have been awesome this quarter. You've been great. You guys represent some of the best stuff that's going on in CMAS this year. I really appreciate you guys coming in this year into the program. I'm
wouldn't say
so
that.
glad you're part of it. And have a
Yeah.
great break. And thanks to everybody for watching and tuning in.
Hey everybody, Richard. I'll try that again.
Yeah, the way you did it. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Richard
Yeah.
Maxwell here.